Okay. Recording is started.
All right, thank you, sir. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dana Shepard. I'm the Acting Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Insurance, Securities, and Banking, and this is the regulatory Sandbox meeting being held via teleconference on April 2nd, 2020 at 4:05 p.m. I want to thank you all for joining us during these trying times. Hopefully everyone is staying safe first and foremost. And I don't know about you, but somehow managing to continue to work remotely. Maybe some of you are better at it than I am, but I hope everyone is doing well and at least making do under the circumstances. I do want to say also that just so you know, Commissioner Woods has not lost interest in the Sandbox Council. As you may recall, she was appointed by the mayor in mid-January of this year, and about, I guess, 5 or 6 weeks on the job, we started down this road with COVID-19, and during the past 4 or 5 weeks, it has been somewhat of a challenge dealing with some of the insurance matters and the banking matters, not so much securities, but it's really been very busy for her. And today she's on a call with the banking regulators to talk about relief for consumers who have mortgages or credit cards and other bills that we all do. So that's why she's not here. She says she may jump on if she has a few minutes, but the call is actually taking place at the same time, so she may or may not be able to join us. So with that intro, Mr. Washington, would you mind taking the roll, please?
Absolutely. And just so everyone knows, since we're doing this completely by teleconference, everything we vote on will have to be a roll call vote. Our Office of Open Government has explained that as a best practice, that's something we're going to have to do. So I know that we're used to kind of adopting things by unanimous consent, but just so everyone understands, if we vote on anything today, I'll have to do a roll call just like I'm doing the roll call generally for attendance. So with that, we will begin the general roll call for attendance. Shahar Abrams.
Yes, here.
Okay, thank you. Omar Alalami.
Here.
Julian Alcazar. Julian Alcazar. Marquis Allen.
Present.
Salman Benai. Salman Benai. Elizabeth Ergubian.
Here.
Jigar Gandhi.
Present.
Thomas Hampton. Thomas Hampton.
I think somebody fell off,
Did he
so
fall
maybe
off?
he'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think somebody came off, so maybe he'll come back.
I'll come back.
No,
Renee-
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
I'm sorry.
Renee Johnson. Renee Johnson. Laura Kaplan.
Here. Hi.
Drew Maloney. Drew Maloney. Casey Malden. Casey Malden. Did Casey respond? Okay. Treasure McLean.
Here.
Erica Miles.
Present.
Lindsay Parker. Lindsay Parker. Courtney Robinson.
I'm here.
Okay. Joshua Rosenthal.
Here.
All right. Joseph Vardner.
Hey,
Hi.
it's Michael McMahon. Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
is now
Yeah.
joining.
Let me call again. Joseph Vardner. Joseph Vardner. Dana Shepard.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we need to?
Julian is also on the line. Sorry.
Leon, you're on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got you.
Thank you.
Do we need to hear from our guests? Also, do you need that?
Right, DISB staff who's on, just identify yourself for me to make sure I have you.
Okay, so this is Michael McManus from security.
Bedford Collins, Commissioner's Office.
Maureen Murat, OG's Office of the General Counsel.
Mm-hmm.
Yolanda Barlow, Care First, Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Thank you. Any other public members of the public who've joined the call? Okay.
So thank you. So pursuant to the agenda, does everybody have the agenda for today?
Yeah. I do.
Great. So normally we would have everyone review and approve the minutes. Unfortunately, because of some logistical challenges, we do not. We're not unable to circulate the minutes for today's meeting. So I would like for someone to make a motion to postpone the approval of the meetings for the minutes for this meeting until the next time we convene. And if I can get a motion and second, then Mr. Washington will have to go through the roll again.
Mm-hmm.
This is Marquis Allen. So moved.
Jigger got me second.
Moved and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Shahar Abrams.
Aye.
Say aye. Yay and the aye. Okay, very good.
This is Omar. Aye.
Julian.
Aye.
Marquis.
Aye.
Salmon wasn't here. Elizabeth.
Aye.
Jigger.
Aye.
Tom.
Who?
Tom.
Yes. Aye.
Okay. Me. Laura.
Aye.
Okay. Treasure.
Aye.
Erica. Erica.
Sorry. Aye.
Okay. Courtney.
Aye.
Josh.
Aye.
Dana.
Aye.
Okay. Vote passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. So next item on the agenda is I believe it's the, I don't know if we have any questions regarding committee assignments? Does everybody join at least one committee?
Everyone
Is
did.
anybody?
And just before the council members jump in, I'm going to recirculate the committee assignment list that I sent earlier today because Erica's name was left off of the structure committee. So everyone will get a revised version of the committee assignments list with Erica's name properly placed in the structure committee.
Okay. Thank you. So one of the things we wanted to do today is hear from the committees to kind of get a sense of what has taken place since we last met. And I know Christian had requested I guess a report. I'm not sure how formal it is, but some information related to the work that you have accomplished since the last meeting. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe, Christian, you said that there was at least one report from the structure committee. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So would someone from the structure committee like to sort of provide an overview of what you accomplished since the last meeting and anything you currently working on?
Unknown participant is now joining.
Or plan to accomplish going forward. So any volunteer, please.
Before the structure committee go, can I ask who just joined the call?
Sure.
I'm
Okay,
glad you could join us.
Hi, Salman Benai's on the line too.
Who was that?
Salman Benai.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
This is Marquis Allen. I was appointed by my committee as being the spokesperson because apparently I run my mouth more than everybody else. So we have established regular committee conference calls on the bridge line that we were supplied. The last meeting we had was last Friday, which was what was that? The 27th of March. And the next meeting that we have scheduled is this coming, or it's April the 17th, Friday, April the 17th at 4 p.m. We started research of potential sandbox vendors who could potentially provide the sandbox platform for development, test, and release of innovations. In our research, we've identified at least 2 organizations that express interest in leveraging their blockchain platform to create fintech innovations, namely Block Apps and a company called Burst IQ in Denver. And we've connected with another one named Consensus that is interested in learning more about the effort and I think some of the rules around how the sandbox is to be worked. We began research of potential sandbox participants. We identified innovative payment associations as one potential contributor of interest, as well as 2 blockchain as a service companies, the 2 that I mentioned, and a financial institution, namely First National Bank, who have expressed interest in potentially participating as innovation creators, and they want to learn more about the sandbox effort, the project. We began discussing as a group incentivization models or methods for attracting participants to the sandbox, including discussing the possibility or the appropriateness of hosting short-term sprints, codeathons, or contests for innovators to submit prototypes to be considered for further development in the sandbox. We began discussion on what the participant application process for admittance to the sandbox would look like, what kind of conditions we would require from entrants. We began formulating ideas on how we should format our findings for the report to the mayor in conjunction with the findings of the other 2 committees. We kind of divvied out some tasks that each of us have undertaken, and for the next short term, our planned and in-process tasks and goals include continuing to research potential sandbox elements that would be useful or necessary for participants to access while they're using the sandbox, vis-a-vis research data sets, software developer kits, and things of that nature. We want to connect with the DC office of the CTO to also discuss possible tech resources from the district for the sandbox, be it hosting services, server space, technical support, and things of that nature. We're going to continue creating and considering elements of the participant application process and all those protocols that we'd want to eke out for the Sandbox, as well as continuing to consider and discuss and create incentivization methods. We want to collaborate with, and we will collaborate with, the Legislative and Regulatory Committee in researching compliance considerations that might affect participation in the Sandbox. That was a topic that came up in some of our discussions. And also because we've had some connection with entities that are interested in potentially participating in the Sandbox. We want to collaborate with the Market Committee as appropriate in that effort as well. We also want to connect with some of the interested participants that have already verbalized the desire to learn more about the Sandbox effort, to have them present their organization's proposed contribution to the Sandbox effort at an upcoming FSR-SIC council or committee meeting. And that's the IPA, First National Bank, some of the companies that I had just mentioned. A couple of the identified points of research that we've been talking about that we're particularly interested in diving more deeply into is along with a hosting solution of the Sandbox, whether it's an outside vendor or an internal DC IT resource, and the Sandbox architecture. So again, what resources will we want to have available to all the participants? Do we want common data sets? If we have a finite number of public participants, are we going to divvy it out so that of the entire group of test subjects, does one innovator group get access to everybody that's participating, or are we going to divvy it up into thirds or whatever have you? And also the expectations and rights of participants and the district municipality in participation. So if an organization participates in the Sandbox, what can they expect that DC will require of them, of the innovations that are created, the intellectual property and that type of stuff? We want to do some research to answer those questions. As far as major dates are concerned, our next Sandbox Structure Committee meeting is April the 17th, Friday at 4 p.m. That's our short status report.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you and the members of the Structure Committee. Sounds like you guys have been busy, and you've presented a lot of great ideas, and some sounds like some very promising opportunities. Does anybody have any question or discussion on anything that was just covered?
Dang, it's Michael McManus. If I can mention something, under the investment contract structure, whether or not securities are being offered or investors are doing anything like that, that's something that we should know about.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out for that. Thank you. So any questions, comments, discussion about the report that Marquise just made? Everybody still there? Everybody's phone's working. No questions. Everybody got it.
We are all still here.
Okay, great.
Dang,
well,
we all home.
I understand.
I'm just,
What about the Anybody from the market or legislative regulatory committees have anything they'd like to share with the group? All right, hearing none. So what can we do to sort of help to move the project along? It sounds like Marquise had a lot of things I tried. One thing I will say, when you're ready, if you're ready now, please send us an email with respect to the topic related to support from the district government, specifically the IT office. So if there different questions or requests that you'd like some answers to in terms of hosting or support and what that would look like, we certainly can get answers to those types of questions. If you provide them to us, we'll be happy to get back to you with that. But it sounds like you have some people who want to come and visit with us, maybe some presentations, maybe some exchange of ideas. I'm not sure at what point you'd like to do that, but certainly to the extent we can try to keep moving along digitally or virtually, if you will. I don't know, we could try to set up a WebEx or whatever so we could see presentation. If there's anything that we could do to keep moving, I think we should try, if that's possible. If we can do as much as we can, and if it means we have to adjust, then hopefully we can do that. But just sort of let Christian let me know what it is that you need from us in terms of scheduling topics for future meetings, having presentations, anything we can do, we're happy to help.
Dana, this is Marquis. I did have one question, and I think we might even be covering it later on in the meeting. Have we pushed back the due date for when we are looking to have our report ready for the mayor? Because if it's still on the same timeline, then we would of course have to try to expedite getting some of these presentations scheduled. But if we have a little bit more time, that would be nice to know so that we could factor that into reaching out to the people that were interested in talking to us, and make sure we have enough time to hear what they're saying so that we could include it in our portion of the report.
Sure. So the answer is we have not extended the time yet, but given the circumstances, I don't see that as being a problem. The question I would put to the group now, if we want to talk about that now, what would be, I mean, I know it's hard given the uncertainty about how long we're going to be under these conditions, but just to start the discussion, what would be a reasonable time to extend the due date to? Would end of the year be sufficient, or are we talking about going into next year? Any thoughts?
Would end of the year be possible? I think that would be better in my rather than pushing it further out as next year.
Anybody else?
Yeah, this time I think end of the year would probably be better.
This is Elizabeth.
Okay.
I agree with that. End of the year.
And Chicker
So-
agree with that as well.
Sounds like we're all in agreement on that. I don't see the mayor get too upset about having to delay this, given everything that's going on. So I think that we'll have to go back to her and revise the order, obviously. But so that's something we could do on our end. So that's not a problem. So do we want to pause here and have a formal motion and go back through the roll call again to actually vote on moving it to the end of the year? It sounds like we probably should.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
So can we get someone to make a motion in a second, and Mr. Washington can go back through the roll again to move
I motion
the
so we
meeting?
vote. I motion that we
to
vote.
to move the meeting to the deadline for the report until to December 31st.
Yeah.
Okay,
Who
made the I'm sorry.
This is Julian.
Julian made the motion.
Yes.
Okay, and who's second? I heard a second.
Marquis seconds.
Thank you, Marquis. All right, we'll go back through. Vote is on motion to move the deadline or to request moving the deadline to December of 2020. Shahar?
Aye.
Omar?
Aye.
Julian?
Aye.
Marquis?
Aye.
Almond?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Aye.
Jigger?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aura? Laura?
Oh, aye.
Okay. Treasure?
Aye.
Erica?
Aye.
Courtney?
Aye.
Joshua?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Right. Vote passes unanimously to make the request to move the deadline to 2020 to December 2020.
Thank you for that. So we will work with the mayor's office to get her order amended accordingly. It may take some time, but I don't anticipate any problems with that. And as soon as we get confirmation, approval, if you will, we'll let the committee know, the council know. So I don't believe, if I recall, that there are no further reports from any of the other committees. Okay. So is there any discussion about sort of where are we going, and the work of the committees, anything that we need to discuss, and questions or concerns that anyone has about anything? So, hearing none, do we want to talk about what I'm not sure, I don't have the schedule in front of me. Let me see. I think our next meeting is it April?
16th?
Was April 16th canceled, or was that?
It was canceled. So we, I think the next meeting
is it May 14th?
May 14th.
Okay, so we have about 6 weeks. So do we want to talk about sort of our goals for either what we would like to be able to accomplish at the next meeting, so we could all kind of move toward that goal, or do we want to talk about what we could maybe what the committees could try to accomplish between now and the next meeting? Anybody have any thoughts about that? So Marquis, so you said you have some people, sounds like, are interested in meeting with the council. Is that something that you would like to try to schedule in May?
Absolutely. I mean, now that we kind of have framed out how quickly we need to get information, we can go back to the organizations that we've been in contact with, and have it or see if we could schedule people to talk to the council at our next meeting. Failing that, because our committee is having, it seems like a little bit more frequent meetings, we can have them meet with us and present to us, and then we can report our findings to the members of the council. But certainly, we can.
Dana, if I could ask, What kind of entities are these that we're talking about here?
So as far as the Sandbox Structure Committee is concerned, the entities that we've been talking to were potential sandbox vendors who could provide the Sandbox platform where all the development and the testing and the innovation, but also we've identified a few participants in the Sandbox, people that said that they might want to get in there and create a service or a feature for district residents and businesses. So it's kind of the gamut of participants.
Okay.
Well, that's great. So that's exactly, maybe that would actually jumpstart some of the work of the other two committees if we hear from a bank or some other financial services entity that has a specific proposal, and if the council thinks that that's worth pursuing, then maybe that would help to inform some of the work of the other two committees. So please try to set up a meeting. I don't know. I don't want to be optimistic, but I don't know if we'll be in the office on May 14th. But it's possible. But if not, we'll have to do our best and keep moving forward. So if you could help to facilitate that, that would be great. As many people as you think we can reasonably visit with at one time, please do the best you can, and we'll try to schedule that. And also for both Marquis as well as the other committees, if you have agenda items that you'd like to, as you think could meet between now and May 14th, please send them to Mr. Washington, so that if we do get presenters from the bank or from some of the platform providers, we can add that to the agenda, and we can circulate that. And also maybe the sooner, actually, the sooner rather than later, if we have a sense of who will actually be coming or calling into the next meeting, and we could circulate that information, it may actually it may cause some of the other groups to say, well, maybe let's think about what kind of questions we might want to ask of the presenters, rather than wait and not really have the benefit of time to give thought to a lot of questions. So as much information that we can get before the meeting that we can circulate to the council members, I think that would help to make the next meeting more productive. So
yeah, we're happy to help.
And I appreciate that. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, Dana, this is Omar. I have a quick question. I recall during our last meeting, we mentioned, or maybe the meeting before that, we mentioned that we'd look at services who would be offering solutions to DC residents. Is our scope, in terms of the companies that we target, is our scope only limited to those in DC or the capital region or anywhere, as long as they want to serve DC residents?
Yes, I think as long as they want to serve DC residents, I don't think they have to be physically located here. That might be, too much of an ask. If as long as they're providing services for residents, I think that's our goal. Anybody disagree with that? Okay. So
Dana, from the security's perspective, our statute is into, within, and from.
Okay.
So that's kind of pretty much where we are.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have anything? So one thing that the commissioner asked me to raise with the group is just something to think about. In the midst of all of the turmoil and the sort of the current environment that we're all dealing with, she asked a question: if there are any regulatory impediments or any type of anything that the committee, the council could explore that would help to facilitate transactions or the sale of products and services during this time that we sort of, we're getting calls and emails from people who want us to change processes and procedures and things like that. But are there anything we go thinking about this, if we go on for a while, or if this, raises its ugly head again in the fall or next winter, is there anything we should be thinking about as a council to sort of facilitate and to help the economy and technology moving forward? God forbid if this continues. And it's something you don't necessarily have to have any answers to. I mean, there are a lot of things we need to do. It may not be necessarily something that the council would take up, but I know, like, for example, we have, the simple things that, this technology already exists. I mean, like a lot of our filings require notaries, and we don't necessarily have, notaries aren't as easy to come by. We have things that have to be filed and signed by multiple people who are in different locations. So we know there's already software programs that allow for this electronic signatures and things like that. But there are a lot of things that we never really had to think about before. We're having to adjust because people just can't do business the way they used to remotely working from home. So anyway, something to think about. If there's anything that we can do to make life easier for the financial services industries and the people who work there and the residents, the consumers, anything like that would certainly be something worth considering. So,
so one small pitch on my end would be if we could, especially on the housing side, enable electronic closing. So in Maryland, for example, you're able to close on a house fully digitally and not have to interact with a person face to face. You could do your closing all via Microsoft Meet, Skype, Zoom. The entire closing procedure happens electronically. There's a notary on the video as well. So if DC could take the same stance in terms of lowering that regulatory burden on the mortgage industry, I think it would be a huge positive, as it's already been done in Maryland.
Well, great. So we will, Maureen, if you could make note of that, and we can chat with Brian Williams about that tomorrow. Brian is our banking director, and he's actually on the call with the banking regulators with the commissioner, but we definitely will bring that to his attention. And so in case you don't know, the commissioner actually does have the authority to modify laws during the emergency. So that's something that we certainly can take a look at, and we'll let you know about that. Anybody else have anything that doesn't have to be a topic for the council, anything that you're working with in your other lives, your day-to-day work that we could help you with? Just let us know. We'd be happy to look at it. So I believe
Dana, this is Tom. Yes. Dana, this is Tom. Do you want us to send any kind of recommendations on relaxing regulations, laws directly to you or to the committee, to the council? I'm just trying to figure out where to send this information.
Is it you think it's appropriate for the Sandbox Council, or is it just you want to extend the filing deadline for something like?
No, I mean things like relaxing cancellation and non-renewals, or with premium rate increase issues and things of that nature that can help benefit consumers. Just trying to find out. Do you send that to you?
Yeah, it sounds like that's probably not a Sandbox issue. So you could send it to me, and you could copy Phil Barlow But
Okay.
it sounds like, unless I'm wrong, that's probably not a sandbox type of thing. But we're happy. Anybody on the council that has anything, share it with us, and we'll get it to the right. So either we'll bring it back to the council and make that part of the work of the council, or if it's clearly not something the council would work on, we'll get that to the right people in the department and make sure that we get back to you on that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anybody else have anything before we adjourn?
One last thing. Sorry to be a pest. Late last year, DC announced a fund to invest in innovation in the district. Do we, as the regulatory Sandbox Council, have purview into that fund, like how those monies are being distributed? It would seem like a natural source of ideas in terms of reducing regulatory burden for these tech companies that the district is trying to invest in.
So I believe the fund you're referring to is the fund that's being operated out of the Deputy Mayor for Economic Development Office.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer to your question, but I can talk to Sharon Carney was, I believe, running point on that, but she's now become the chief of staff. But I'll reach out to her and see if she can shed some light on that, and maybe she could join us on the next meeting or call and talk about that if you have any questions, or maybe she could even refer some of the companies who receive funding, and we can take advantage of the relationship there. I know as you can appreciate, they just create a micro loan loan/grant fund for restaurants and bars and stuff. So they're a little bit swamped over there. So it may take a little time for me to get back to you on that. But we definitely can work with them.
That's totally fine. And then there's also a separate grant that was given out to bring together a diverse group of VC funding into the district as well. That was given out, but given all of this, there's no status update of how that is going.
Was the VC funding, was that DMPED also, or was that some other arm of the government? I want to say that the innovation fund was both. I think the innovation fund included loans and investments, if I recall.
Okay.
So I'll check with her, but I think they were doing VC in that, but I'll check with her to see if there's a different fund, and
good deal.
We'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. Anybody else have anything before we end the call? So we are at least scheduled as we speak to meet again on May 14th at 4 p.m. Barring any changes, we hope to see everyone or hear from everyone at that meeting. And again, please don't be shy about contacting us between now and the next meeting, so that we can kind of get a sense for what the topics will be for the agenda, and hopefully people can think about good questions and some opportunities that those agenda items may bring to the group. And Christian, do we have to go back through the roll call again in order to move to end the meeting?
Well, we usually do have a motion to adjourn, so I guess one more for the room.
All right. Well, anybody have anything else? So then I hope everyone is staying safe and practicing good social distancing and all that. And with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn in a second.
Josh Rosenthal moves to adjourn.
Marquis second.
All right. Properly moved and
This
seconded.
is Shahar Abrams. Aye.
Okay, thank you. Omar,
Aye.
Julian,
Aye.
okay, Marquis,
Aye.
Salmon,
Aye.
Elizabeth,
Aye.
Jigger,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
Treasure,
Aye.
Erica,
Aye.
Courtney,
Aye.
Josh,
Aye.
Tina.
Aye.
All right.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank
Look
you. Be
forward
safe,
to-
everybody.
Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you.
Take care.
Multiple
Bye.
people are now exiting.